wasn't with me shooting in the gym.
Bring. Yo, this Kobe. Delete that, nephew. There was a time where Drake was one of the most feared rappers in the industry. Not feared because people are physically afraid of Drake or they think Drake is gonna beat them up or something, but feared in that Drake's reign on top from about 2010 to about 2020, he was such a dominant figure. People were afraid to go against him. Even people who didn't like him, fellow rappers who didn't like him, a lot of them bit their tongues when it came to Drake because Drake just seemed to dictate so much in the industry at the time. But one rapper who didn't bite their tongue when it came to Drake was Common. So Common and Drake got into a rap back and forth over what we understand now today was Serena Williams. Common and Serena Williams allegedly have been dating, and then here comes Drake and he, I guess, messes that whole thing up, swoops in on Serena.
And I didn't know if he was throwing shots at me, like, you know, this is my ex, and, you know, we kind of going our separate ways. And, you know, unfortunately, the war might have been over a girl, even though at the time I never said that.
And obviously, Common, as a man, is angry. This seems to be like a tactic that Drake uses to little bro, to son other rappers. Like, I'm going to show you, despite how close you and your girl are, I'm going to show you that I can take her, smash, and then send her back to you. And that's kind of like Drake's way of lil broing, you know, like sonning his colleagues, his fellow rappers. And we've seen Drake do this time and time again. I mean, this is really what makes Kendrick Lamar's fiance Whitney so dope, because she didn't fall for this hook, line, and sinker. Like, even if what Drake was saying in his diss records about Kendrick and Whitney kind of being separated, even if that was true,
Why did you move to New York? Is it because you live in that bachelor life?
the fact that Whitney didn't take that as an opportunity to like one up Kendrick or just like to spite Kendrick. There have been a couple of women over the years who didn't respond favorably to Drake, like Pusha T's wife, who Drake name dropped in a song.
And I'ma let it ring on you like Virginia Williams.
But by and large, especially at the time in the 2010s, women just seemed pretty swooned over Drake. So when Drake is making these advances, they don't seem to, I mean, it seems like they just go along with it. And allegedly, this is a big reason why so many rappers have issues with Drake. Like, he's just going around and just picking off all their women. So anyways, hey y'all, I am a one-man show. I record, edit the video myself, create the thumbnail, everything. So hitting like and subscribe does help a bunch. Thanks so much. Back to the video. This whole beef between Drake and Common over Serena Williams results in some bars. So we get some bars out of this. And the song that I'm going to talk about today is called Stay Schemin'. It's actually a Rick Ross song featuring Drake and French Montana. This song came out during the Take Care era. This verse by Drake was one of the first verses by Drake that I actually truly liked. I mean, my history on Drake as an original Drake hater since like 08. I've been like, the first time I heard Drake rap, I literally thought it was a joke. I had no reason to hate on the guy. I didn't know who he was. Someone played a song. I literally thought it was a satire song like Weird Al Yankovic. So as an original Drake hater, and like there's this picture of me holding the Take Care album, which I actually bought because I love these verses that Drake was dropping around this time in the lead up to Take Care. And in that picture, you can see my friend's reaction. They're like, bro, you bought a Drake album? Because everyone knew just how I felt about dude's music, so they were shocked. The song is titled Stay Schemin'. Rick Ross has verse 1, and French Montana has the hook.
Stay scheming.
Yeah.
So the hook actually interpolates a Nas song called Daydreaming.
Stay scheming. Y'all niggas killing me.
Niggas
Yo,
tryna
Frank, each and every
get
ratchet.
me.
Niggas wanna get at me.
So we go straight into Drake's verse, and Drake, this is at a time where Drake's persona on record is kind of changing. Drake is going from this nerdy, super vulnerable, like insecure rapper that we heard on So Far Gone and Thank Me Later. And he's kind of in that time between Thank Me Later album and Take Care album, Drake is kind of like shifting. He's doing features like Lose My Mind, collaborating with guys like Jeezy. He's doing features with Rick Ross, like Made Men, like Stay Schemin'. So he seems like he's trying to take a more hard persona. And I think this is where that persona culminates. Like, I had never heard a Drake verse like this prior. Like, he was really talking crazy on this. So let's get to the verse, shall we?
It bothers me when the gods get to acting like the bras.
Drake starts off the verse. It bothers me when the gods get to acting like the bras. And I just love this opener. He's talking directly to Common, like, yo, aren't you a hip hop legend? Ain't you one of the hip hop gods, like God MC type? Ain't you one of them ones? Why is you acting like a straight Basically, like, yo, it bothers me when the guys start acting like broads. Like, it's crazy. I just think that's such a poignant opener because it's giving Common his props. Like, you the one, you one of the legends, but you acting like a straight right now. Like,
Guess every team doesn't come complete with niggas like ours.
then he goes on, I guess every team doesn't come complete with like ours. Like, yo, I guess everybody ain't built like us. You know what I mean?
I see no need to compete with niggas like y'all. I just ask that when you see me, you speak up, nigga, that's all.
He said, I just ask when you see me, just speak up. That's all. This verse doesn't sound too out of place nowadays, but to hear Drake talking like this back then, it's like, whoa, like, he's really turning up on this guy. It's like how Common was talking on the song The Bitch in You, where he's dissing Ice Cube. To hear like super conscious Common, even though he has like the background that he has, you know, in Chicago, but to hear him talking to Ice Cube like this at that time, it's like, yo, we didn't know we had it. You didn't know you had it in you, honestly.
Don't be ducking like you never wanted nothing.
Drake continues, like, don't be ducking. You don't duck me. And, you know, again, you letting the R&B singing guy, which that's what Drake was known as at the time. He's just a singing dude who's like nerdy. You letting him talk to you like this?
Back when if a nigga reached, it was for the weapon. Nowadays, niggas reach just to sell they record.
He said nowadays, dudes reach just to sell their records. Like, yo, dudes is reaching on me because and trying to diss me because they got albums coming out. Like, this is why they doing it. They just doing this to sell records.
Spaghetti bolognese in a polo lounge.
And I love that spaghetti bolognese bar. When I first heard this song, I was like a teenager. I didn't know what spaghetti bolognese is. Now when I go to an Italian restaurant, like shout out to Frank Coley in Anaheim, I get that spaghetti bolognese. It is delicious.
Shorty wanna tell me secrets about a rap, nigga. Tell that bitch it's more attractive when you hold it down.
So this is the bar where he's allegedly talking about Serena Williams. Let's play that back.
Shorty wanna tell me secrets about a rap, nigga. Tell that bitch it's more attractive when you hold it down.
He said, shorty wanna tell me secrets about these rap dudes. So the way Drake is setting it up, it's like, yo, Serena Williams is basically pillow talking with me about you. Telling me your secrets. Like telling me like, yo, like I told her it's more attractive when you just hold it down. Like you telling me about this, man. It's more attractive to me if you didn't say anything about him. Cause now when you go lay with him, you probably gonna pillow talk about me to him. And it's this thing Drake does. He's good at putting, who knows if he wrote this, right? He's good at taking a simple concept and making it sound dope. Like the opening bar.
It bothers me when the gods get to acting like the bras.
It bothers me when the gods get to acting like the bras. Some rappers will just say, oh, look how these legends acting. Oh, these old dudes acting like this and that. Like, but Drake just makes it sound doper. Yo, when the guys get to acting like the bras, and he does it again here. Like, it's kind of a diss to Common and to Serena. Like, yo, Common, your girl is pillow talking with me about you. And even though I'm dissing you, I'm gonna diss her real quick. Like, yo, shorty, you would be more attractive if you wasn't like snitching on this dude. Like, it would make it look like you actually holding it down for him, even though you in bed with me. Type beat. It stings. Something like that gotta sting.
Kobe about to lose 150 M's.
And now we get to probably the most popular part of the verse.
Kobe, my nigga, I hate it, had to be him.
Kobe about to lose 150 M's. Kobe, my dude, I hate it, had to be him.
Bitch, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym.
Chick, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym. Then Rick Ross doubles down.
Huh. Bitch, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym.
So this verse came out around the time there was divorce rumors between Kobe Bryant and his wife, Vanessa Bryant. Drake loves talking about other men's women's. And I think a lot of the times, I think the reason he feels so emboldened to do it is because 70, 80, 90% of the time, it works. Like the women are swooned by him, especially at the time. This didn't work out like that though. So in the bar, Drake is basically saying, yo, Kobe's about to have to give half of his stuff, half of his net worth. He's gonna lose $150 million. He's gonna have to give it to his ex-wife. Drake is like, yo, that's crazy. Kobe earned this 300 M's on his own. Like, when you wasn't with me working out in the gym, like you wasn't catching the alley-oops when I threw it on the court to make this money. It's crazy how now I gotta give you half of it. Like, that's the gist of the bar of what he's saying. Like, it's crazy how this woman is gonna get half of your stuff when she wasn't there when you was working for it, basically is what he's saying. Now, my theory is Kobe Bryant actually heard this verse, heard his name being dropped, and heard the reference to his wife, and G-checked Drake over this. I truly believe Kobe Bryant G-checked Drake over this. Like, yo, don't mention me, don't mention my wife, and apologize to my wife. Like, I don't need your apology because I already don't mess with you. Apologize to my wife though. Now, so why do I think that happened? because Drake actually went and apologized. He apologized publicly. He put in a public apology. After raising a few eyebrows last year, Drake has apparently made things right with Kobe and Vanessa Bryant. Drake toppled on Rick Ross's Stay Schemin' back in April with the inflammatory lyric in question. Kobe about to lose 150 M's. Kobe had, we know the bar. Chickie wasn't with me shooting in the gym. Miss Bryant has revealed that she received a text apology forwarded from Drake's manager. Vanessa Bryant says, and I quote, it's done and over with, and it's time for people to honestly think before speaking. So to me, this sounds like Kobe went and said, yo, it's not about my ego. I don't need you to apologize to me. You need to apologize to my wife. And it needs to be public, just like your inflammatory lyric was public. And then Drake is also asked about this bar again in XXL, as reported by Slam Magazine. It seems Kobe reconsidered his divorce after your line, because I mean, Kobe and Vanessa, they didn't end up getting divorced at the end of the day. And Drake goes, oh God, that was tough, man. I never meant for that to be malicious. XXL is glazing, it wasn't malicious. Drake says it wasn't at all. I think given the issues that were happening at the time, it just sort of caused maybe some internal family things or whatever. I caught wind that she was, ooh. So XXL said, did you hear that from anyone? And here comes Drake being messy with women again. I caught wind that Vanessa Bryant was unhappy about the line or whatever. I never meant you caught wind. No, my theory, you got that boss call. Bring. Yo, this Kobe. Delete that, nephew. Sometimes you don't realize how big your voice is. I guess it's weird. I'm just a kid from Toronto. I'm rapping a line. So before we move on, I want y'all to hear Vanessa Bryant's full ether. She just ethered Drake, her full response to being mentioned in that bar. In 2013, Vanessa Bryant responded to these lyrics in an Instagram comment and claimed Drake had apologized to her in a text. So she's really flaunting this. And again, this is why I think Kobe gave him that boss call. Because Vanessa Bryant, I mean, she's pretty like laid back, it seems. She's not really super in the media like that or like trying to clout chase. But with this, she went public and like, yo, by the way, Drake apologized and boom. Like she's letting people know. And then she comes out with this. Vanessa Bryant says, I love when immature kids quote a rapper that has never been friends with Kobe and knows nothing about our relationship. Just shows how gullible they are. I don't need to be in the gym, because you know, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym.
Bitch, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym.
Like, bro, I don't need to be in the gym. I'm raising our daughters, signing checks, and taking care of everything else that pertains to our home life. But thanks for your concern over an immature quote. I really wish people would stop and think and then realize that they are being sucked into someone's clear intention to monetize and gain attention off of our family's heartache. We gotta hit the facts button on that. This is real life. I hold down our home life so my husband can focus on his career. It's a partnership. Since my husband isn't friends, so she's reminding y'all, like, Kobe don't even know this dude. Since my husband is not friends with Drake, we received a text of an apology forwarded from his manager. I think it's done and over with, and it's now time for people to think before speaking.
Bars, nigga.
So anyways, although it was a dope bar, I think Drake regrets saying that for sure. And to finish off the verse, Drake goes on,
Tell Lucien I said F it, I'm tearing holes in my budget.
Tell Lucien I said F it, I'm tearing holes in my budget. Lucien Grange. It's a reference to Lucien Grange, who Drake is now like kind of going at it with over the whole UMG lawsuit. If I'm not mistaken, Lucien Grange is the CEO of UMG, and he was the CEO of UMG back then. This is back when they were cool. Like, yo, Lucien, we cool. I'm tearing holes in my budget. Like, we going crazy. Bagger like we in Publix. Take her ass out in public. So, you know, Publix is a grocery store. Bagger, okay, you know, just a little wordplay. More food references. Soda and nuggets. So this could be like a verse on MF Doom, food. It's a lot of food reference. Publix, soda and nuggets, steak with the butterfly cut, spaghetti bolognese. Like this could be on food. And then finally, the last bar.
I'm just hitting my pinnacle, you and pussy identical.
I'm just hitting my pinnacle. You and pussy identical.
You like the fucking finish line, we can't wait to run into you.
You like the finish line. We can't wait to run into you. Can't wait. To be fair, Common actually responded to this verse with his own remix of this song, same beat.
Like that. You gon' mess around and make me catch your body like that.
You could argue that Common did a fine job, right? But as someone who was there at the time, like, you know, if a diss record is impactful, if people think you should respond. Like Drake's The Heart Part 6.
That's that one record where you say you got molested.
What?
Technically, it's Kendrick's turn to respond because Drake dropped the last diss record to Kendrick. Like, Drake has the last diss, but no one feels like Kendrick should respond to that weak record. It's a weak record, like, it's over. And this is kind of how people felt that I remember at the time when Common dropped his Stay Schemin' remix.
I heard you said you wasn't a bitch cause you sing, you a bitch cause you cling like a bitch that's 18.
No one felt like, yo, Drake should need to respond. Like, people actually kind of laughed at it at the time.
I'm taking too long with this amateur guy. You ain't wetting nobody, nigga. You Canada Dry.
Some people thought the Canada Dry bar was clever. Some people thought it was trash. Some people thought the mixing was trash. Like, where did you record this? You record this on a calculator, TI-89 calculator? I understand that people who think Common did a good job, because the stuff Common is saying in that Stay Schemin' remix, it's what Pusha T said about Drake.
Son of a bitch, I imagine what your father is.
It's what Kendrick in some parts said about Drake.
The rapper of the moment is style, he don't own it.
Like, yo, you're not who you're pretending to be. Like, you're soft, you're pretending to be hard, and I'm gonna expose you. Now, did Common do as good of a job as Pusha T or Kendrick? No, I don't think so. I don't think he did as good of a job, but I can understand someone who would think that Common did a fine job, right? You know, back then, if you would have told me like, yo, Common, he killed Drake, I would have been like, bro, what are you smoking? Are you smoking crack? Crack cocaine? Like, are you a user? Are you using? Like, what's up with you? But I can understand it nowadays. He released a response. I just feel like it wouldn't be fair for me to not mention that. But again, no one really felt like Drake had to respond to that, because the response, like, to be honest, from what I remember, it kind of got laughed at the time when it dropped. So yeah, that was that time when Drake destroyed a legend. And I think this is a point at Drake's career where he's kind of going from the nice guy, like 2008 to about 2010. He's kind of going from the nice guy. Drake even has a bar on Thank Me Later on a song called Thank Me Now, where he mentions like, yo,
Let your idols become your rivals. You make friends with Mike, but gotta AI him for your survival.
I'm at this point where your idols become your rivals. You make friends with Mike, but then gotta AI him for your survival. He's thinking about like the transitory period. All these rappers I grew up on, they're kind of phasing out of the league. I'm coming up in the league and I'm gonna have to take their spot. And he kind of feels like anxiety over that because he loves these guys. Like how the NBA players loved Michael Jackson, how they love LeBron James. Eventually, if you're Anthony Edwards and you wanna become next, you're gonna have to dunk on LeBron James. An old LeBron James. Well, LeBron James still hoop. But at a certain point, you're gonna have to dunk on him and make him look washed, really break his legacy. So Drake goes from that and kind of like having anxiety over it and feeling sad about it to on Stage Schemin', he's like, yo, I can't wait to run into you. Like, yo, y'all supposed to be legends. Y'all acting like bros. Like, this is at a point in his career where he's just becoming more jaded. And he's kind of seeing like, these guys I grew up listening to and looking up to, they ain't shit, basically. Like, I don't know if it's how they treated him or how like talk goes around the industry. You gotta remember, when you're on top like Drake was back then, people are just gonna hate on you. People are going to pretend they're cool with you just to collaborate. People are going to just treat you like kind of shiesty at times. And I think he probably started to feel some of that. And this is around the era where Drake really started to lash out. Like, he's lashing out. And we've even seen this with rappers like Game. When Game came in the industry, he was like, yo, I don't diss legends.
I never take shots at legends. That's just something I don't do.
To then, in his career, dissing plenty of legends. But when he came into it, it was like, after his first album, he's like, yo, I don't diss legends. I don't do that. So it seems like a lot of rappers get jaded like this. So, and this is certainly Drake's time where he was like, yo, all these guys who I thought was cool and however they treated him, whatever happened, this is the first version of the Drake we have now. Kind of like the spiteful, like angry a little bit Drake, kind of how Pusha T mentioned.
Your music for the past few years been angry and full of lies.
Like, this is the beginning version of that. And Common was the first victim. So anyways, that's all I got for today. What y'all think of this verse? Stay Schemin'. Have y'all heard that Nas song, Daydreaming? Did y'all know? Did y'all know like the Stay Schemin' hook? That's interpolated from Nas.
Stay scheming, niggas wanna get at me.
And I know we're gonna have the Drake haters in the chat. I'm telling you, none of y'all been a Drake. A lot of y'all who was pretending to be super for the culture, for the Kendrick, y'all niggas was Drake fans. I'm the original Drake hater, but at the end of the day, I'm not gonna listen to a song that's bumping and then just act like it ain't bumping. Stay Schemin was bumping. That's a Snapple fact. So anyways, that's all I got for today. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.